here. So I'd like to welcome everybody to Net Gain, Networking, Encouragement, and Training. I got my friend Jeremy here with me. So what we're going to be doing, this is a new series. We're actually at the SIMA Symposium soft launching today. So what this is intended to do is, number one, provide some education in more of a, how do I say it, kind of conversational manner, not necessarily formal podcast teaching, but hit you with a couple takeaways because I'm a trainer. You're going to get some takeaways from me. It's what I do. But also, we want to bring other people on, introduce others in my network to it. We also want to make this is going to be a virtual series going forward. So anybody, can join. We'll have a Zoom link to sign up. It's free. We want to make this a place to get some encouragement during the week, have some relevant conversation that you can listen to on a topic. And then I'm actually going to open up virtual networking rooms, or in this case, we have people actually here with us networking at SIMA while we're here, but virtually we're going to do this virtual. So what we're going to start with is some encouragement before Jeremy and I start talking about career depth in the industry. And two pieces of encouragement I want to really hit the industry with is, number one, I use the Richard Branson quote. It's one of my favorite career quotes, but it's train people well enough so they can leave, treat them well enough so they don't want to. So that's really my encouragement to anybody. If you lead people, if you train, if you manage, we can't control everything, but how well you train and treat people are two things that are fully in your control as a company. So I encourage you to really take hold of both of those. And then the second thing I'll say to anybody at any point in their career, one of the quotes I share in leadership training is, we say do it, but I'm scared. Do it scared. So we encourage you, whatever that thing is, to do it scared, whether it's, maybe you're attending the symposium for the first time. Maybe you're thinking about attending an online networking event, but you're not sure. Maybe you, aren't sure about asking your boss about taking more on. It's okay if you're scared. Just do it scared. So, Jeremy, would you say anything to that? Like, do it scared?
Definitely do it scared. Last year, I went to the SIMA Symposium the first time, barely knew anyone. Petrified, hopped on a plane from Ottawa to Toronto to Pittsburgh, met a guy at the airport. Got to the symposium, met like 1,000 people. Now I talk to those people. We're all basically scared, but get out there, meet people. That's the only way you're going to grow yourself as a person and your career. Just get out there, get it, be a sponge, soak in everything.
100%. Yeah. And, we actually met at the symposium in Pittsburgh. So this is a product of that. So you can see what can come out of just being, and I know you've been on several podcasts, different trainings. I mean, how many of those came out of that or were built
all
of them? All of them. Okay.
Yep. Anyone who's invited me on their podcast, even people I talked to on LinkedIn, basically everything started from either going to the ECF thing a couple of years ago where I knew nobody. I was like one of two Canadians there.
Nice.
Or the symposium, met so many people, and then started getting invited on podcasts, which I never thought I'd ever be on in my entire life, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. So the takeaway there, you can see what do it scared can open up, because here we are having a conversation in Grand Rapids. We didn't even know each other at this time last year, walking in the symposium. And here in fact, I didn't even have another do it scared. I didn't even have jack of all people trades last year. I was just a, learning and development guy in specialty pharmacy. I didn't have my passion business now, as I call it. So none of this was happening, and so I went scared, in a way to be like, am I going to be received? How do I explain to people what I do? Like, do I even want to do this officially? But the takeaway is stepping out can open many doors. And this industry, I don't know if you'd agree with this, but I feel like it's very supportive and really, people have your back. People are willing to, be part of it, help you out.
We're all essentially doing the same job or providing the same services to people. And most of the stories we have, they've got a shadow story to the same thing.
Yeah.
They were broken down at 3 a.m, or they had problem retaining people. They used people like you to develop that. We all came from the same thing. And all I'll say is, like, doing it scared. The best day to start networking with people was yesterday. Second best day is today.
Today is the day. So whenever you're seeing this, if you're hanging out with us here at SIMA Live, today's the day to start networking. For those that are here live in the room, definitely take advantage of, the mini golf session tonight. Opening events tomorrow when we have breakfast, snack and chat tables. I'll be hosting one on retention.
Me too. Table 33.
I think I'm 7. I have to look at my thing. So yeah, you got 2 tables here. See, again, another open door that came from just showing up. So But one thing I wanted to talk to Jeremy about specifically in the industry is, for those who know me, know I'm all about all things HR people. So why I exist in snow is to help snow and landscape companies find, develop, and retain the best people. So I want to talk to Jeremy specifically about career development. And where this came was we actually were on what call was that? I think it was on, it was on when we were watching Storm Chase.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned about like shout out to the shovelers. I started as one. So kind of talk about introduce like what your role is now, but then talk about where you started and how you kind of got there.
Yeah. So my role now at Clintar is technically my title is account manager. So I take care of the clients, but I also do a lot of operations and a lot of development of people. I do a lot of the training sessions. I help develop things. I go to colleges. Last year I went to a college on behalf of Landscape Ontario, get people in the industry. But it all started, it's in my early 20s. Had a family to feed, but he had a landscape company. He's like, "You want to come shovel?" I'm like, "Not really, but I need money." So started shoveling. Hardest job in our industry, but in my opinion, the most important job.
Yeah.
Because without the shoveler, nobody's getting out their doors. People are slipping and falling. Did that for about 2 years. Then I bought my own plow truck. Had a plow truck for 3 or 4 years and started bigger equipment. I kind of fast tracked. I got into a company as a supervisor because I had a spraying license. Went from there, got out of the industry for a little bit, got back in the winter. Because honestly, if you're willing to work in this industry, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
And then I started running big loaders for a company. I'd never driven a loader before in my life. Guy called in sick. They're like, "You want to drive the loader?" I'm like, "Okay." So taught myself how to drive it, which I don't recommend. You have to train your people. Like, don't do what I did. Like, people do it, lots of them, but we want to train the people. And from there, I basically only in machines now. If someone calls in sick, if it's a super long storm and we don't have enough people to fill the seats, besides that, I'm teaching the people to run the equipment and I'm doing a lot of stuff in the background. So a lot of people out in the field think the ones in the background aren't doing anything.
Grab some popcorn if y'all want some. So if y'all see us talking, we just chatting with everybody coming by. So, this is open networking. Sorry, cut across you. Go ahead.
No, and I think a lot of people in our industry, that's where they started out as a shoveler. And this industry, you either love it or you're doing it because you need the money. And if you're doing it because you need the money, in my opinion, you're going to fall in love with it after 1 or 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Because you meet so many people with so many great stories. You can meet people been in prison, got their life straightened out.
Yeah.
Had addiction problems, got their life straightened out. It's all salt of the earth people in this industry. And everyone's, in my opinion, everyone's out there to help each other. And like what we're doing now is helping people.
Yeah.
The symposium helps people. The SIMA symposium helps people. All those online chats that we have, the TV show. It's all because this industry is lifting each other up to make it better for the next generation coming behind us. And yeah, if you want to get in the industry, find a company, ask them, say, "Can you develop me a career path?"
Yeah.
If they're a good company, they're going to have an SOP on career paths.
That's good.
Because we want to grow people, right? We don't want someone come in, work first for 3 months, and then we never see them.
Yeah.
Because like people say, "Well, why am I going to train you? What if they leave?" Well, what if you don't train them and they stay?
Love that. Love that. Yep.
I forget who said that. I think it was down at Storks that was brought up. And it's so true. Like, we have to train the shoveler, we have to train the sidewalk guy, and most people, that's how they do it. Shoveling.
Yep.
Then maybe they get on a snow raider, then maybe a sidewalk tractor, then maybe a compact loader, tractor, then they're in the big machines, and then hopefully down the line, they're running crews, like they're running sites. Like,
Yeah.
and that's, I think most companies or most reputable companies, they want you to move in those stages,
Yep.
And don't feel you have to rush into that. Like some people can express lane right to the whatever, but some people it takes a season of shoveling, season on the snow raider, and some people, they just grab things quicker. But go at your own pace. If you're not comfortable, tell your supervisor so you need more training. And if it's a good supervisor, a good company, they're going to give you that training.
So you really advanced. It seems like kind of two takeaways I take from what you said is number one from the, we talk career development, snow. One from the takeaway I'll give for the employee side. So if you're an employee wanting to grow, one for the company side. So for the employee side is the importance of grit. You
Yep.
talked about
100%.
you're going to be out. A lot of times, especially if you're coming in with no experience, you don't have any kind of specialty skills where you're like office or admin or whatever. You're going to be starting, especially if you start seasonally. You're going to be starting on a shovel crew. You're going to be starting, literally boots on the ground with a shovel. Maybe working up to a blower, like you said. Then as you grow, so having that grit to really work those long storms, discipline your body, make sure you get the sleep that you
Yep.
need, make sure that you work through the tough things, and also even grit in taking feedback too.
Yep.
During a tough storm, it might be like, hey, hurry up, and in a hurry. Obviously, I talk the importance of respect, but we all know in emergency moments, push comes to shove sometimes.
Yep.
We're, we talk a little quicker and push a little more in our talk than we want to, but can you have the grit? And I'm not excusing, listening to bad behavior, but
Yeah.
can you have the grit to be corrected and to learn from that and get better? So
Yeah, like the positive criticism, positive feedback, and honestly, when I started in this industry, I was on what was called the last chance crew. And the owner of the company's dad was like, the best ability is availability. If I call you, make sure you come. Because if you don't come, maybe I'm not going to call you next. I'm going to call someone who's going to show up, right? And that's part of the grit.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you don't want to get out of bed when it's -20 and it's a blizzard, but you have to get out of bed in this industry. Like there's no, I can't do it. You have to push through. And it's going to build your career and it's going to build you as a person.
Yeah.
So
the takeaway is definitely have that grit. Like Jeremy said, be available, be teachable, learnable. So that's my takeaway from our takeaway from the employee side. I would say from the employer side is think about with career paths, have actually, like you said, an SOP. So have it on paper. What does it look like? And you always want to, I always say in the company, if you're thinking about career paths, you start with your biggest areas. You always kind of manage by rule, not exception. So I get that for something like me, what I did in like HR, that might be a little more nuanced or harder to find out, career path, but start with operations. If you're a snow, let's say you're a snow only business or snow and landscape, and you were talking about building for seasonal snow people, start with that. Start with how does a shoveler, what skills do they need to get to that snow room? What training do they need? Document it, have people that can give it, have time that you allow for it, and then move on. Same thing with, how you go snow raider to, ATV, UTV, or maybe skid steer loader, have them maybe do the big passes with the loader. Maybe they come. And here's the thing too, part of grit can be for these seasonal guys, this can be a win-win for your team. Have somebody on your team that you pay some, overtime or extra hours for to come do some training cleanup after the storm, and maybe have some of those guys come either help in the cleanup, or if there's nothing to do cleanup wise, have them come for training on their own dime. Because if people are willing to invest in themselves, and that's the thing too, if you say like, hey, look, we're willing to train you, it's on you, you as a company pay your guys to provide the training, but it's really on the employee if they want to take it. That can be a way to get your skills up. But the takeaway for the employer is have that documented path. So have that, how do we go from shoveler to snow raider to equipment, and then also what skills do you need to teach along there. And that's kind of where someone like me on the learning and development, like training side, comes in, is talk about, especially as you get to people skills. Because one thing that's often a mistake that comes into play when we start developing people to managers is we take people that are really good at their job and are like, okay, you're ready to be the crew leader, but being a people manager, as you probably know, is moving to it. It's a way different thing. You're now responsible for others, and there's a lot of skills in how you talk to people, how you hold people accountable, how you do one-on-ones. So come on in, man. Grab some popcorn if you want.
No, good.
Okay, well, man, we just hanging out here at SIMA shooting some content. But yeah, the takeaway there is really, have that path and have training, especially for your people managers, of like, what does good communication look like? What is the do's and don'ts? I think a big one in snow that, I know kind of the old school mentality is like, whatever, just get it done. But I think with the newer generations, like things like emotional intelligence are really going to come into play, because I think the newer generation, some people have said, oh, they're soft, they don't take it. But at the other hand, they also, I think, stand up for themselves more in that
they do.
in that aspect of like how I will and won't be talked to. So for you as a leader to be able to, and that doesn't mean you can't. I think a lot of people, sometimes in a fast-paced blue-collar industry confuse something like emotional intelligence for softness. You can be 100% emotionally intelligent and still hold somebody 100% accountable.
Yeah, 100%. Like, so I've been in the industry over 20 years, and the way that my boss talked to me 20 years ago, I couldn't talk to my employees like that today, because maybe that was acceptable 20 years ago. It's not acceptable now. And 20 years ago, I was a guy who needed a job to feed my family, so I wasn't going to talk back. But even like my daughter's 20. If I talked to her the way that he talked to me, she would like, yeah, no, not having any of that. See ya. I'll go work somewhere else. Somewhere that shows me the respect. I get people do say that generation's soft. I don't agree they're soft. I think they're actually more advanced than we were, and they're more in touch with their feelings, and they know that they have to do this job, but they also know that that job comes with a level of respect.
Yeah.
Where when I started out, I felt like I was just a guy pushing snow. Like I didn't feel that I was doing something as important as it actually is. And that's something I stress to all of our employees. You're not just a shoveler. You're not just a loader operator. You're the emergency services for the emergency services. You're keeping your community safe. Without us, the community shuts down.
100%.
And without people in your field, HR, I can't do my job because I don't have the staffing people.
Yep.
Like we started a thing. So when we go to hire people, and now we're going to start doing it with everyone, we send them out like a form to fill out, and it's just select 20 words. And it goes into an algorithm.
Yeah.
And it'll tell us this person's an independent thinker. This person's this person. And then we can kind of gear their career path towards that. Like, so I'm a client person, but when I did my intelligence thing, I was nowhere near a client person. So I have to work hard for that. So I might not be in the right seat, but I'm doing that job. Where now we're utilizing this computer algorithm to help us place people in the right position so they can succeed, right?
Yeah. No, that's really good. So I think the final takeaway I'll add with or end with for the recording here is kind of to piggyback off what Jeremy said about the current generation and, what they're expecting as far as respect. But I will say the positive other end of that, because some people might just say, oh, they're soft. I can't do what I do. I'm done with them. But if you challenge yourself as a leader and change and say, I'm going to be emotionally intelligent, communicate, if you get them to buy into you, they will be extremely loyal because they are looking for that community. They are looking for that place to belong and to work and to build that career. And I will say that, even in this industry, I found that, this is just my anecdotal experience, but times where I've yelled or raised my voice, I hardly ever get the results I want. Maybe I will out of compliance, but times when I've actually sat down with someone who's struggling and being like, hey, look, I'm not getting what I'm needed, but tell me what's going on. I feel like I get more results, better results, and more buy-in long term.
Yeah, my grandma used to say a thing, you catch more bees with honey.
Yeah.
So if you're nicer to them, they're going to buy in, and they're going to follow you because you're the kind of leader they want to follow. Like my daughters are on social media, that whole generation. Our generation's on social media too, but we didn't grow up with it.
Right. Yeah.
And they've got those communities, right, of like-minded individuals who bring each other up. They're not beating each other down,
Yeah.
And as a leader, you have to really not just talk the talk, you got to walk the walk when it comes to that.
100%. We're going to sign off now because I actually have another thing I got to get to here at SIMA. But just so y'all see, if you're seeing this later, what we're going to be doing with NetGain once it goes totally virtual is we're going to start off with sessions like this. So I'm going to be looking for guests. So if you want to be featured or know somebody that wants to be featured, we're going to talk about different topics like we talked about career development today. It's going to be a little bit like you see podcasty style, but also a little bit, teaching style. I'm going to hit with some takeaways that you can really use for your own professional development. So you can use this video as part of your professional dev. And then what we're going to do with the second half of it, once we're virtual, is actually break out. If we have a small group, we'll just stay in the Zoom room and open to networking, maybe have some prompts. Or if we have bigger groups, we might break up into different Zoom rooms and do some networking. So it'll give you a chance just to network. Obviously, we're at SIMA, so we got the whole next few days to network. So anything final to sign off with, Jeremy?
No, just like Evan said, do it scared.
Do it scared. That's the word right there. All right.
With no weather, but you ain't gonna slip and fall with that. Why? Cause we snow fighters, we assaulting that. Yeah, this assaulting that. King me, this salting rap. Clown brokers, end of the road. This facts. Sparks flying from the start, it's a Goldberg match. Wild with the snow clouds running, we be on a mission. How